This is Brian Wade of Blue Suede Cartoons, and you're listening to the Top 5 Comics Podcast.
Welcome to the Top 5 Comics Podcast, people talking about comics, pop culture, and events. With us today we have the Jedi Master Ross.
Hi.
We also have the Dark Lord of the South, CBS.
I'm not the one dressed like Bill Belichick. Ross.
No.
I don't know who that is, by the way.
He's your master.
And then we have the Medium Lord of the Salad Bar, Rob. Hey.
You also know who Bill Belichick is.
I do know who Bill Belichick
And you serve him at the salad bar.
Maybe.
You definitely do.
I don't know if that guy's rocking salads.
That's questionable.
You know.
It's one of those all-you-need salad bars, buffet style.
Oh, I get you.
It's a salad bar by name, and that's all.
He's rocking like a little bit of lettuce with some macaroni on top.
Heck yeah.
That's how Bill Belichick builds a win.
Nice.
Lettuce, macaroni, lettuce,
pasta,
defense, I guess.
Maybe.
Brady, go get my car waxed. All right.
Oh. I don't think Tom Brady does anything like that.
Probably not.
Gets his eyebrows waxed, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, somebody's a winner.
All right.
Welcome to Top 5 Comics Podcast. Today we are doing episode number 98.
Ding-ling-ling-ling.
Oh, yeah. So today we're going to be doing issue 2 of the Inhumans
Once and Future King.
Thanks for the help.
Which is a ridiculous title.
Yeah, 5-part miniseries. It's issue 2 of that.
Yeah.
We're doing Retcon, which I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, issue 1 from Image Comics. And then Teen Titans, number 12 from the illustrious DC Comics. And a brief overview of Action Comics number 987. And then we got a interview with Rags Morales from the Colorado Springs Comic Con. And during that, Rags actually goes over the Armory Wars series kind of a lot, so that's pretty cool. So if you want to know about Armory Wars, stick around, because the dude talks it up. I mean, he's working on the current series, so that helps, but awesome dude, totally legit. Like, straight up dude. It's fun to talk to. Anyhow, let's see, is there any news from Ross? And a dog pile? God damn it.
There's definitely a dog pile. I don't know if there's any news, though.
We're actually, we'll actually be in the dog pile.
Currently in the dog pile, it's true.
So, if you heard dog-like sounds, that's probably just news happening.
Yeah, it's got to happen somewhere. So it might as well happen in the pile.
Just get a typewriter.
They don't have fingers. That's true.
It's true.
Oh, man. Jack's a dog.
I don't know why these people were sliding.
They didn't. Right, it doesn't. So, I guess there's a little bit of news, but it's mostly like weird movie news and weird stuff coming out of random interviews from people, so who knows how much of it's true. I mean, there's talk of a third Gremlins movie, according to the man who played Billy in the movies.
Are they actually talking to Billy, or are they talking to Billy to play like his father?
No. The way he made it sound, it was a direct sequel.
Okay. Just
years later. So how that works, no idea.
Huh.
But again, it's like one of those things. Like, who knows if it'll ever actually be a thing, or if it's just like somebody had an idea and they're like, let me throw some money at ideas, and then also people start talking. So who knows? But that's what he made it sound like. That's what he said to me, and into a room full of random people. So
That's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's actually interesting news. I mean, compared to what we're seeing with so many relaunches and reboots.
Yeah.
Now, kind of interesting. I think we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, though, because there's the Karate Kid show as well.
I'm pretty sure we talked about it, but
okay.
Yeah, William, man, I don't remember his last name, Johnny from the Karate Kid was saying that the Cobra Kai show, which is going to be on YouTube Red, is supposed to be out next, I think, June, is what he said. But yeah, as far as the show, I mean, it's a continuation from the movies. And with same cast, because at this point, Macho and him are both supposed to be in it. And as far as setup, it's supposed to follow Johnny in the later years, like reopening the Cobra Kai dojo and trying to make a go at it or whatever, but back in the hometown that him and Russo are from. Well, maybe not Russo because he moved there, but, same concept. Which I'm super pumped for, and he seemed pretty pumped for it too, so that's cool.
See, that's the thing, like, that's the reason I brought it up, is I actually heard another show that was talking about it, and they were immediately, like, flagging it as being terrible. And like, oh, what a terrible idea. Nobody wants to see this. Like, all these reunions for big bands. I mean, if you care about it, you want to see it. Like, I'm pumped for the idea of, like, a return to the Karate Kid storyline, And I think it's cool to go back and actually have the actors come back and do the movie instead of trying to reboot it. I mean, it's not a popular opinion, but we all know Hollywood's not out of ideas. They're just out of the idea of putting films out that they don't already have a successful track record with.
Right.
And that's why we're getting all these reboots.
Successful following. And it's not a reboot. I mean, it's a continuation, just like the whole Fuller House thing. Yeah. Not that I'm endorsing the Fuller House, but those ladies are pretty.
And I see Fuller House is the exact opposite with me. I didn't care about Full House to begin with.
Right.
And I actively hated that character on the show. So, like, I had no desire to ever see that.
The older sister.
She was probably the least interesting of all the people in the show to me. Like,
she wasn't Uncle Jesse Stamos. That's true.
That's true. I mean, I much rather would have had the comedian guy have his own show than ever have that. But I mean, it would be like doing a spin-off with just Bob Saget, just the dad Saget. It's a terrible. It was a terrible idea. I don't know why anybody thought that was a good choice, but. Who knows? I guess, Will and Grace is going to come back out and people are excited, so I guess people have
you like what you like.
Sometimes. On a very similar note to those things.
Okay.
They did announce that, they announced a while back there was going to be a new Halloween movie next year.
Okay.
And today they announced that Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back as
the sister?
As her character.
One more time, as the sister?
Yeah, as her character. The very last time she'll ever play that character.
Interesting. I wonder if we can get LL Cool J back, though. Because I think he survived.
Are you talking about Buster Rhymes?
Was it Buster Rhymes or is it LL Cool J?
H2O was Buster Rhymes.
Oh, damn. Can we get Buster Rhymes back? Did he die in that movie?
No. Surprisingly not.
Because Buster Rhymes is bulletproof? He wanted to be a writer, I think, is what it was.
Probably.
Can we get Buster Rhymes back? I'm just saying.
He tried to quaff kick, that DJ character from Street Fighter? Street Fighter 2 did that back kick with the big foot where his foot changed shape, sort of. It changed shape by mistake. I mean, that's how it was animated. But it was like a quaff kick, and it kind of made that quaffy noise. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go back in time and play that game. Or find it on your phone. But that's what he did. He did that to Michael Myers after he thought Michael Myers was another dude that was not supposed to be there dressed up in the costume he was wearing. It was sweet. Did you guys see that movie? I know you saw it.
I saw it.
All right. H2O?
I think I own it. I don't know if I've watched it.
Well, you should watch it. I mean, it was supposed to be important because she was back in it.
Jamie Curtis was in it, and of course we had Buster Rhymes in it. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sold. I'll watch it.
There you go.
I can't say it's a great addition, but
you'll listen to Rob.
I probably would have watched it at some point, regardless.
So. Well, now you gotta watch it because of Buster Rhymes.
It's true.
That's just how it is.
Now you know. No, he's have to battle J. Joe.
How likely is it that it gets made, though? I mean, right now,
it's already being made. It's coming out next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like Jason, we're just going to get a cancellation here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's 100%. They have a date, I think October 18th next year.
Nice.
So.
That's what I like to hear.
Universal is putting it out.
Yeah, it makes sense, too.
Are they trying to wrap that into their Universal Monsters movies?
No.
I doubt that. No. He's not. No. Captain Kirk is not a normal monster.
It's true.
It's Captain Kirk.
Although he probably slept with most of them.
Oh. Telling you.
Definitely the werewolf.
This new Star Trek show should have been Kirk's Bastards. And just move forward with it. But no, we had to do something stupid. Okay, let's move on to books, Rob.
Yeah, it was
Before this digresses any farther.
Yeah, this is what happens when you're in the dog pile. You get all the news, even if it's not worth hearing.
You didn't want to know? Guess what you're getting today?
In particular, that's the news that you get.
Yes.
Well, you know.
Sometimes you don't ask for it, but you get it. It's a gift. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with Inhumans Once and Future King, number 2. Cool thing for this is it's being written by Christopher Priest with art by Phil Noto. Which, I mean, Phil Noto occasionally does full books.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. He's been doing the Poe Dameron series.
Yeah.
Christopher Priest has been writing the Deathstroke series over for DC from Rebirth. So, good stuff, yeah. Both.
So, basically what this book is about, and it's kind of sad because maybe this should have been something that they led with when they were trying to do their big Inhuman revitalization stuff here in the last year. But this is going back to before Black Bolt and the royal family has been completely established. And it's going to kind of first show the first times a lot of these characters meet, but it's also going to be building out the Nameless King, which was the guy who was in charge before Black Bolt and his group took over. The tricky thing is that it's not really that clear what year this is in the story. I don't think they really did a good job of even showing us that in the first issue.
Yeah, but timeline-wise, the Inhumans have been around for a while, and even as a people, they don't age the same way.
No, the whole reason I'm bringing it up is it's got to be somewhere in what Marvel would deem the 60s, because we encounter some characters before they become supervillains, and that's the only reason I bring it up. But yeah, it's neat that we get to kind of see these characters as they evolve. And the Nameless King was a character I think was completely made up a few years ago for the Uncanny Avengers story. Or no, I guess the Mighty Avengers story, actually. When they wanted to actually build a little bit of history for the Inhumans. But as we delve into the story, we're starting to see where Maximus starts losing it and why he earns his title as the Man. We get to encounter a young Lockjaw, and of course bring in Medusa before she becomes the queen that we'll have later. And they're slowly integrating the rest of them because we're going to have Triton and Gorgon show up here before long in this issue. But most of the meat of this story is dealing with what they call the Alpha Primates. Alpha Primates were something that in the Inhumans used to be kind of the grunt military force and the kind of slave labor force of the Inhumans. The idea was that if you got Triagen Mist and it failed, you basically became like this kind of subhuman monkey man. The idea was that the unnamed king felt that these people were not real people anymore, and that they should be just glad that they live as slaves. This bolsters a rebellion amongst the Alpha Primates, which they thought was impossible because the Alpha Primates shouldn't have the cognitive faculty to be militarized against the ruling class.
Well, yeah, just like any subgroup, they're always underestimated, so it leads to chaos.
Mm-hmm. As the story unfolds, though, we have Maximus and Black Bolt both kind of save the unnamed king, and that leads us to finding this Alpha Primate that is very educated. He starts kind of whispering in their ear the idea that because they saved the king, he's now been dishonored by them, and that he's going to find some way to root them out, or to kill them, so that he can hold on to his power and he doesn't have to look like he needed somebody else to help him.
Yeah. Save him.
And so the interesting thing is that while we're hearing that on Black Bolt's side, and Black Bolt and this Alpha Primate, along with Maxima, and now Medusa, have all been whisked away to the New York City, which is to them kind of like a primitive sort of place. They're kind of learning how society over there is different than the society that the Inhumans are used to. And we're kind of learning more about this Alpha Primate who evidently escaped control and went off and like educated himself and has gone through college and has really built something for himself. So he's like a prime example that the Alpha Primates have more capacity than they've been told to. He's trying to get Black Bolt and the gang to kill the unnamed king. And so there's a lot of like political things kind of going on in here. You know, you have
posturing, setup stuff.
You have him basically telling him like, "Oh, you're not safe with the king or the unnamed king because he's going to kill you guys for saving him," while at the same time, like he's trying to tell him like, "Well, you should kill him first." But kind of one of the neat things that was in this particular issue is that we meet the wizard before he'll become the wizard, which is Bentley, one of the fearsome four that used to fight the old Fantastic Four. Actually, super genius. Just, once he realized he had a tumor in his brain, went crazy. But we kind of get to see him play a part in this. He's actually developed a neuralizer that will deactivate the Inhumans' abilities. And he's trying to give them this weapon to take out the unnamed king so that they can take over and in theory bring in a new era of peace for the Inhumans and like I guess make the Alpha Primates not slaves. But it kind of makes you wonder like what everybody's motives really are in this.
Sure.
And actually, as you kind of listen to the unnamed king, he's actually saying all the right things, so it's kind of hard to say whether or not he really wants to kill Black Bolt and Maximus. Because every time that's brought up to him, he's like, well, there's no threat to them. They're going to be the king. They're the rightful rulers. Once I'm gone, or once I step down, they're already the next in line. So there's no reason to kill me. There's no threat from them, because they're already the next in line. Why would that even be a thing? But, I don't know. It's a really neat setup for a story that builds a lot of personality for each of these characters. And every time that I've seen the Inhumans, they've already have all that relationship stuff finished. Like, the royal family is completely knit together, and we never really saw an origin for them, I think.
Not anything in the modern books, no. When they first showed up, they were already a group. So I think even from the beginning, Black Bolt was connected to Medusa.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember anything before that, but, I mean, that's like 70s Roger type question.
Yeah, you're going way back, and, the Inhumans, you're going way back to a specialty niche. But it's cool to see all these characters as they build up, and they actually just introduced Karnak in this one as well. So if for whatever reason you passed over Inhumans Once and Future King, really take a second look, because it's actually becoming a really impressive story. And I mean, the artwork for it, of course, is fantastic. It was one that I originally was going to skip on, and I'm really glad that I picked it up. So,
Sweet.
I'd probably, if I was going to go ahead and rate it, I'd probably give it a 3.5, I'd say. I was actually really impressed with it. So,
It's great. All right. Mr. Ross?
Follow suit with Rob. Give it 3.5.
Okay.
I know
Small bonus for the Lockjaw bonus story.
Yeah, no, it's true. The Lockjaw bonus stories have been ridiculous. They've had them in both the first and the second issue here. Mm-hmm. One of them being basically like the Thing trying to play fetch with Lockjaw, which is kind of ridiculous. You're throwing some things as a dog that can teleport. I think it ultimately wound up being like the Thing throwing a tree around the world and it just hitting him in the back of the head. This one has even a crazier story. If you can think of a crazier story than trying to play fetch with a dog that can teleport worlds. In this particular issue, we wind up having Wolverine facing off against Psycho Man, which, if you don't know who he is, look him up. He's ridiculous. But basically, he controls people's emotions. So he's attacking them all, and he's trying to get all the citizens in the mall to attack Wolverine. And so Lockjaw's whole way of stopping him is to teleport in kittens. So every time they start getting angry, he just teleports in more kittens to break down people's
Their
need for hate.
Yeah.
You know? Until Wolverine attacks him and cuts his arm off. And then Wolverine asks, of course, the question that they should have never asked. Where's he getting all these damn kittens from? Which means he teleports them to the dimension that is all kittens. And Wolverine has a secret urinal at the very end where he can no longer face the world knowing that there's a world full of kittens.
Makes perfect sense.
It's like the most ridiculous backup story ever. So,
That's
like,
awesome.
you have a pretty darn serious book, and then the backup story is just ridiculous. And at least it's ridiculous in a very funny way so far. So you're right. It was good to note the Lockjaw miniseries story.
Right on. Like, book-wise, I love Phil Noto. I think his art is fantastic. Anytime he does covers, anytime he does interiors, the dude is just awesome. I think he's a great artist. Story-wise, the story seems pretty strong. I give it a 4, but I love that art. That's why I would score a little higher, simply because of the artist.
Well, on the other end is he actually did the character designs for all the young Inhumans in the book too, so
Right,
which
which
is really cool.
is a bonus too, because he's just really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main reason why. But yeah, entertaining-wise, it's interesting. It's a 5-part series, so it's not like it's going to last super long, but because it's a flashback story or a prequels-type story, you're also getting ground that I don't know if the only reason it's happening is because of the show happening, but at least it's interesting and does not a copy of something else.
Yeah.
At least not anything that hasn't happened since the 70s. So I guess if you're current on your early 70s Inhumans, then maybe you don't need it, I guess.
It's possible. But I mean, for me, the nice thing is that it kind of humanizes the royal family a little bit more, and so hopefully if you haven't been reading Inhumans, who knows, maybe this will actually sell you on them and you'll start really liking those characters.
Right. Alright, let's move on to Retcon from Image Comics. This is issue number 1. Written by Matt Nixon, and the art is by Toby Cypress, which Toby did some of the art for Blue Estate, which if you're a follower of the show, or at least an early follower, we reviewed Blue Estate a couple times. It was a story written by a Russian and dealt with, like, inner Hollywood turmoil. Good stuff. I mean, at this point it's over, but book-wise, if you get a chance to check it out, beautiful covers, interiors, wild. But it went through 3 or 4 artists, so as far as, like, style, all of them seem to make the book good. Anyhow, so this guy, for Image, this Retcon, when it first picks up, like, the way it opens, we start in New York, we're in New York, and we start inside of a church cathedral, and we've got a couple voice boxes that are, like, expositional and monologue-y. And the point of view we're following, at first it's really hard to tell exactly who you're following, but once it catches up to that, then all of a sudden it makes, like, a lot of sense. But we're in a meeting for an AA group, or a group of dealing with post-traumatic stress and alcoholism. And we've got this one particular guy who's in there telling a story. And as he starts unfolding his story is dealing with what was termed as a secret military group outside of the normal guys of the military. They dealt with supernatural type things. So group-wise, it's one of those groups that's more black book than anything, because they dealt with, like, genies and demons and crazy stuff that they make up excuses for, that or why we go to war with crazy countries, supposedly. And as he's talking about this, the exposition changes from, he's gone off the grid, we're going to have to stop him. And we realize that the person who's talking is a guy in the group, but he's been watching him the entire time and reporting back. He's wearing this crazy, like, button that has a triangle with, like, an eye in the middle of it. So secret organization style. And he's been informed that he's supposed to take out everybody in the room and kill all the innocents and put anybody down that saw the picture. Because the picture had a bunch of military types with a crazy goat-headed, multiple-eyed, multiple-armed genie that they had killed, and, like, it's a sporting trophy kind of picture. So all these people see it and they're like, oh, it's crazy, it can't be real. And then as it goes farther, like, they become more and more intrigued by what's happening. So it's like a clean up the mess kind of thing. And then stuff goes really crazy, because during this whole order to kill everybody in the room, our guy, Brandon, who's the character we've been hearing the inner monologue of, after giving this order to take out the target and take out everybody in the room, decides that he doesn't necessarily like the idea of killing a bunch of innocent civilians, and that it bothers him that he's been ordered to do this, so he decides to instead try to scare the people out of the building by staging a fire, which seems super questionable, you know what I mean? And so it starts smoking, and he's like, oh no, fire, everybody fire. And so people start kind of being like, oh, this is weird, and they start trying to leave, at which point we have a lady stand up in the group who is Brandon's partner, which we find out is a dude named Josh, who's a clairvoyant type, who can control people like remote viewing style. And apparently he's been driving around this girl. Because the lady is not she's being controlled by the dude, this Josh guy. So they try to kill the target, and the target happens to be a werebear. Nice. Which is where things get super crazy. And like, as the chaos unfolds, we start explaining all this super technology stuff, and like how there's so many different curses in the world that are real curses, and certain things that change certain things. And our guy Brandon, we finds out, has something living inside of him that will protect him from pretty much anything. So whatever he is, he's the host to something else. And apparently he calls it Mary Sue, which I think is kind of hilarious just because of the terminology for that, which I'm sure is on purpose. Things get back crazy in the middle of it, and of course most of the folks involved die, and that leads to Brand's organization not necessarily being happy with him at all. I'm going to stop there so we don't get to the end catch. The end catch is like, it's a setup to move forward with the next batch of monster types and like what they're going to be. So like chaos-wise, it's a pretty interesting thing. I like crazy monster stuff, and I know you do. Mm-hmm. So like crazy monster stuff is what this whole book is full of. Mm-hmm. I mean, Brandon has these crazy tattoos and marks all over him, and before the werebear gets killed, he tells him he knows the person that put the marks on him. And that makes Brandon even more intrigued. And, like, how he got him in the first place, well, we don't know that yet, because it's issue 1. But yeah, as far as, like, what abilities he has, we straight up see his arms, like, transform into these crazy, like, scaly gorilla arms while he's fighting the werebear, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is freaking nuts. Score-wise, I don't know if I've read anything else by Matt Nixon before or not. I mean, maybe I have. By memory, I don't have anything in my head. I was a pretty big fan of Blue Estate, so some of this reminds me of that series. Some of the art does. But as far as story, the stories are nothing like. I don't know. I give it a 3. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where it goes. The art is super wild, so depending on what you like, I mean, it's got a wild art style. Because when you see the demons or like the werebear, it is crazy looking. Oh my gosh. But yeah, as far as the score, I give it a 3. I like it, though. I'm interested to see what the next book does. Art style-wise, it may not be everybody's cup of tea. But I dug it. Rob, did you score for that book?
You know, I have to agree, like, the artwork for it is definitely wild. And it reminds me a lot of Blue Estate. But the storyline for it is very intriguing. And it'd be interesting to see where they're going to go from this. I think I got to fall suit and go like a solid 3. For me, I mean, as crazy as it all is, I don't, I'm looking forward to seeing what the next thing is, but I don't know, it hasn't quite grabbed me yet. So
sure.
3 I think is pretty good.
I'm going to give it a 3 as well. Just because of werebear more than anything. Yeah, I mean, everything you guys have said has been on point for me too, but
well, I know you like crazy monsters, and werebear, I figured it was a more selling point for you. Just like Lockjaw, backup story was the real seller for you on the previous book.
Yeah,
Ross's particular likes people.
That's true.
That's all right. That and cake. I understand. Cake is good.
Cake is good.
All right, so that brings us to Teen Titans number 12. This is the Dark Knight's Metal tie-in book. It's supposed to take place hierarchy-wise, like story arc-wise, to read it in sequence, it comes after issue 2 of Metal. They both came out the same week, so timeline-wise, I mean, chances are that's how you read them anyway, but you're supposed to because the events in this happen after the events in Metal 2. Anyhow, book is written by Benjamin Percy, and the art is by Mirka? I think that's how you pronounce it. Androloff? If that's not right, I'm super sorry. The art's beautiful. Depending which cover you got, one of the covers was Steve Sijic. He was the main cover. I don't remember who did the B cover, but it was also entertaining.
Both good.
Yeah, they're both good. So book-wise, we open up and we're joining the Riddler in Arkham Asylum at the very beginning of the book. And when it opens up, he's sitting in his cell, hanging out, being Riddler. And we start seeing these word bubbles appear from who knows where that all say Crow, and a lot of them. And eventually, we get the wall broken down, where we're, this is the second time we've seen this character, because he does appear at the end of Metal 2.
Does it, just because I haven't read any of it yet, does it tell who that character is in Metal?
It's Batman.
Well, but does it explain more about it?
He's the Batman who laughs. No, as far as, backstory, no.
Okay, that's
when they get introduced at the end of the... a whole herd of characters get introduced at the end of Metal 2.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, when this picks up, this is the first time we've seen anything outside of the first appearance.
Gotcha, okay.
So there hasn't been, any developing story yet, and we're still not entirely sure how these beings are where they are. Just because Metal 2 is, it's the second chapter, so we know it has to do with the Dark Universe, we know it has to do with the Nightmare Universe, but other than that, there's no real explanation.
What are those, by the way?
So, at the end of... Did you read the casting or the...
I haven't read any of
them.
Yeah.
Ross.
Can you give it, a quick one, or would it just be better?
Best explanation is, how we have the multiverse.
Uh-huh.
Flip the map over, the opposite side of the multiverse would be the Dark Universe.
Oh, okay.
That's the easiest way to explain it, and kind of how they explain it in Metal 1. Although it is a little short-sighted, because I really wish that Metal 1... we would have got a second map. Because we have the map of the DC Universe, the multiverse,
mm-hmm.
which Grant Morris ironed out and made a thing.
Mm.
Well, this stuff is on the back side of that map.
Okay.
Where, when they show it, of course it's just black.
Mm.
I think it'd been cooler, just to criticize for no reason, if there was actually a map on the back of the other map. So you flipped it over and it was a reverse map or another map. Because then you basically doubled your 52 Earths to 104 Earths, which this playing out may not be a real Earth at all.
Yeah.
They make it sound like it's a universe, but we don't know that for sure.
Huh.
Just because they haven't ironed all that stuff out yet. It is issue 2 of a 6-part, and we have a bunch of one-shots happening this next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Because each of the characters gets a one-shot.
And then we have this thing, too.
Including
this Gotham Resistance. It's like its own little mini-series, right?
Right. Gotham Resistance, the one-shots, and even the Bat Who Laughs gets his own one-shot later.
Oh, okay.
So, whether that's going to be an explanation of him or not, I don't know. We haven't had the one-shots happen yet, so...
Gotcha. I see.
Anyhow, so we are joined by Batman, the Batman Who Laughs, and he has a gaggle of Robins with him, and the crowing has been them. And they are very demon-like, pointed teeth, crazy pointed ears, goblin-esque. And this Batman is very reminiscent of Pinhead and Penance from Marvel.
Mm.
Pinhead from the movie Pinhead. Or
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser.
Mm-hmm.
And then Penance from the Marvel Comics Penance or
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts or anything else.
If you look really hard, New Warriors.
Right. And he is greeting the Riddler in prison. Of course, the Riddler is freaked the hell out by it. And he tells the Riddler, "Oh, you know who I am, because you recognize my voice. I'm Batman." And then he explains how he's not there to kill him, because he already killed his Riddler, but instead he had a game for him. And we get an overview of, apparently he's visited a lot of the different criminals, and given them all these magical cards. And the magical cards let them shape reality. And he tells the Riddler to make a reality that he will laugh at. And we cut from there to join Damien, who's en route to try to figure out what happened to Dad. Because at this point... Well, yeah, he's on Goliath, of course.
Awesome.
But Batman's off the board at this point, along with Superman and Wonder Woman. And apparently people are aware that they've disappeared off the board.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anybody knows how yet. I mean, we do, because Metal 2 goes over that. But everyone else is unaware of the situation, what's happened.
Gotcha.
But we've had this giant mountain rise up in the middle of Gotham, and it has a batch of rings around it. And they're calling it the Challenge Mountain. And Damon has decided that Batman must be at the middle. And he's got the Teen Titans following him into battle, and most Teen Titans are afraid that maybe a death trap. Or a death, not trap, a death, what do you call it? A suicide mission, there you go.
Yep.
Suicide mission. Anyhow, the Titans land down in one of the rings on the outside edge, and they start helping people, and Damien finds a doorway, and he's like, we need to go through here. And they're like, well, there's all these people here who need help. We have to try to help them. He's like, okay, you guys help the people. See you later. And he tells Goliath to stay with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he still cares what happens to the Titans,
mm-hmm.
even though he's like, no, there's a question mark on that door. I need to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So he bails and walks into a giant maze. So I'm going to skip some of the story simply because the labyrinth is the whole payoff for it, and it's interesting what happens between A and B. But of course, this is the Riddler's death trap, and of course, the Riddler starts talking to him in like crazy anomalous bubbles. So like, if you were in a giant warehouse and someone was watching you.
Kind of like when you're playing the Arkham games. And the
same
Riddler
idea,
talks
yes,
to you.
exactly. Yeah. Same thing. And of course, Damien skips a few death traps, and then that leads to him running into a couple other people that are also in the maze. Where he gets himself pulled out of the fryer by Green Arrow for a second, and then immediately starts talking down to Green Arrow about how he's a B-League justice. I don't need your help, you're a B-Leaguer. And he's like, you know what, this is one of the funniest parts of the book, and then I'll skip to an end and give it a score, just so I don't spoil things. Funniest part of the book for me. So, Green Arrow's like, yeah, he's following Damon Demons, we need to go down this way, there's a magnetic pull this direction. He goes, I already went down the hallway like an hour ago. I've been leaving arrows in the wall until they're gone so I can track myself and my progress. And Damien goes, do you see that slight shift in the room? It's slightly moving. And he's like, what? You're just another smarty pants who's too smart for himself. He says, there's no way you went down the same doorway because an hour ago it would have been a different place. And Green Arrow's like, oh man. So he used to follow him. And the funny part comes after another encounter we have, where we meet a couple other characters that have been wandering through the maze. We are joined by Harley Quinn and Killer Croc, so two members of the Suicide Squad that are there on Suicide Squad business. That leads to Harley Quinn returning Green Arrow's arrows that she's been finding for him. All over the place. And she's got a giant batch of them wrapped up in her arm. She's like, here's all your arrows you lost. I've been finding them everywhere I go. And Green Arrow's like, are you serious? Are you serious? Which is hilarious. Anyway, that leads to chase to the end, and then we have a couple more kind of crazy reveal types at the end. We get a really big reveal at the end, actually. And then we're joined by one more member of our Bat Squad, but we'll leave that as a hang on also. And we get a reveal of another villain type, which is kind of fantastic. It's crazy, but that's the whole point. Score-wise, I give it a 4. I mean, it's a pretty good issue. There's a lot of interesting stuff for Damien, a lot of the juxtaposition between him and the Titans, and how half the Titans feel like he doesn't care at all. I mean, when he first showed up, he basically berated all of them and then fired Kid Flash, which I think later on is going to turn into something else. Like, maybe there was a reason behind it, or maybe it was to put somebody on Slade's radar to follow him. Ultimately, if it was just to write him out so this story could pay off, okay, I guess. Because if you had a speedster with you going through a maze, super simple.
It's true.
So, having him not on the board as part of the team automatically hinders you. I mean, he couldn't fix every problem, but at the same time, if you're trying to chase to the middle of a building or go through a maze to get to the end, having a speedster make that super easy. So, him being off the board makes sense to me. If it's just for this story, I guess that's awesome. Good planning. I find that unlikely, but that's a totally different batch of books to talk about.
I agree with you.
Anyhow, as far as score, I give it a 4. Art's really solid. The Bat Who Laughs, creepy, just super creepy. Oh my gosh. And like, the payoff with the extra character at the end, crazy too. Just like, it's just crazy. Anyhow, so, good times. If you're not reading Metal, I know the R Store is going to have second prints, because number 2 in second print, today, when it came out on Wednesday. So, there's that. Rob, you got a score for that book?
You know what, actually, I've been a fan of the Teen Titans for a little bit, and I wasn't sure how Metal was going to actually work with it, because I kind of thought Metal might be completely encapsulated.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think this is a pretty cool step in. And they just wrapped up their last story, so, we're not even being ripped just out of the regular story to do this. I'd give it a 4. I've enjoyed the Teen Titans book. I think this is a great standalone. Well, I guess it's not going to be standalone. They're probably going to come back to this story, I believe.
Well, there's a couple tie-ins that go throughout. So, like, Nightwing has a tie-in.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad has one. Mm-hmm. Then there's the one-shot. So, like, where this leads to chase-wise is going to be through the other tie-ins, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, more than likely. But, yeah, I thought it was actually a really good take, and it has a pretty nice setup at the end. But it's, we're getting another kind of first in this with the Green Arrow meeting Damian and kind of interacting with some of the other Titans, so, which is cool. And I love having Green Arrow be important in DC, so. But yeah, I give it a 4. I thought it was actually a really solid book. It is important that you read the Metal stuff to come into this, because if you just jump on this one on your own, well,
Yeah.
Well, this story by itself, there are definitely pieces you're missing, because you won't have any idea where to connect the Bat Who Laughs. This one's going to be followed by the Nightwing tie-in, so I assume probably after that, the Suicide Squad tie-in, so chances are those 3 will run piece to piece to piece, just because of who the cast is.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next chapter for this is supposed to be Nightwing. Just in case you guys wondered where it goes. Ross! Yeah, score for that book?
I'm going to keep being boring and give it a 4, just like you guys.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome how the story works. I was kind of curious if they were going to incorporate the whole Teen Titans into it, or if it was just going to be more of a Damian story, and because Teen Titans is like where he lives now, that was the only way they were going to do it. And they kind of do. They kind of have a little bit of everyone in there. I'm pretty sure like almost everyone that he teams up with in this has yet to be seen since New 52 or Rebirth. I don't think I've ever seen him with Green Arrow or Harley Quinn or Killer Croc.
Yeah. Well, him with them, no. I mean, they've been seen in other books. I mean, Suicide Squad constantly has his characters in them.
Just Damian with those characters.
Damian with them. I see what you're saying. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. No, I missed the boat. Well, we gotta get you caught up on Metal, so that way this stuff makes sense to you.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just in general, even without knowing exactly who the Batman Who Laughs and stuff is, it was awesome. So.
And I mean, it's always cool to see them using Killer Croc for more than just, we need a big dumb guy this week.
Yeah.
Throw him out there.
Yeah. He does kind of do some dumb guy stuff in there, but
he does, but he's getting a little bit more play than normal.
Right. Okay. So Rob, you want to tell us a little bit about Action Comics?
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Action Comics 987.
Pretty big issue.
It is. It has some incredible significance, which we're gonna talk about possibly later. It could be an important thing, but we're going to talk about the important stuff that happens in this issue.
Not the crazy ending.
No, not the clickbait stuff. The important stuff. The things that matter. Right. So we got Dan Jurgen writing, and Victor Bogdanovic. I'm sure that I just completely butchered that. So, yeah.
You also
it's good art, though, just like earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're all worried about things coming into this book, and one of the big things is, of course, Mr. Oz.
All right.
Mr. Oz has evidently set himself up with a whole lot of people that are just, I'm going to call them Z-Nation.
Okay.
They got all kinds of tattoos on them. They're evidently whispering in everybody's ear because they're trying to paint the world as a terrible, terrible place. And so how do you do that? How do you show how terrible the world can be? Well, you know what you do? You give a guy who's driving a LexCorp tanker truck, or Tinker
boat?
An entire bottle of Jack Daniels to just drink it up while he's driving. It doesn't even take much persuading. Just hand it over and like, yeah, we worked so hard, let's just have party time. Evidently, drinking that entire bottle, and it's not even like, he doesn't even do cup. No glass for this guy. Straight bottle in the mouth, down the front of his shirt. He doesn't care. He evidently gets it in his mind that he's going to park the boat on the beach on top of seals.
Awesome.
Tanker boat, yeah. like a tanker liner.
It's a big boat.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
it's a lot of seals.
You know, Superman had to do a whole lot of stuff. He had to prioritize what was going on. So, his first stop was not to stop the tanker trunk driven by Wild Turkey Boatmaster. And those seals are oily now.
Yeah, they definitely
They're
are.
oily like nobody's business. So Superman comes in and he's dealing with it with fire, and you know what seals don't like? They don't like fire.
It's true.
So the seals are being saved by people in hazmat suits from being burned in the oil by drunken boatmaster.
The moral of the story is you don't drink and boat.
Yeah, you would think that
That's the whole point.
That should be the moral of the story. And, honestly, at this point, should we have to tell people? Don't drink and boat?
I don't, probably not.
And if you are going to, be responsible. Have a glass. Don't drink the whole bottle.
I was going to say, don't drink and boat around seals.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea,
that's
too.
a good idea,
and
too.
if you're on a giant, oil tanker, don't try to skip it on the beach. You cannot park that. I don't care how skilled of a boat captain you are not going to parallel park on the seal beach. It's not going to happen in your boat. It's not going to happen.
It's just too big for that.
Yeah.
Any boat would be dangerous.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other terrible things that happen, but that's close to the top.
It's pretty bad.
It's close to the top. So, important things for this book. Sure, there's some big reveals, and Superman does some stuff.
It's pretty impressive stuff.
Wild turkey boat driving equals seals covered in oil.
And fire.
And possibly fire. There's a lot of fire out there.
Oh, yeah.
And although I'm seeing these guys running up with their seals in their arms, I gotta imagine there's gonna be a couple of those seals. They're gonna be burning seals.
We don't talk about that.
I totally picture that scene in Man of Steel now where he's rescuing the Alaskan oil.
pipeliners.
You just don't see the part around him where all the seals are on fire.
Oh, man.
where he shows up and he has his abs on fire. I guarantee you his abs are on fire in that scene. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. They definitely are.
So he's saving the people, and there's just a burning seal off camera just slapping its flame in the air.
He's trying to sing about being kissed by a rose or something.
I thought you were going to tell me that it was, it reminded you of the scene where he just let his dad die in a hurricane just because. Don't reveal yourself, son. It's fine. And he's just looking at the seals burning, and he's like, I can't do anything for you guys. I'm sorry.
Can't do it.
I'm here to help humanity, not seal-manity.
Worst
You had your chance, seals. Sorry.
The worst part is it's right after his dad did that, so it's the seal talking to him this time instead of...
Oh.
Sometimes you have to let things go.
Kind of intense all the time.
What's on fire?
Man. Whew.
It's the gift that keeps giving. Who says that that's a terrible movie? Some people.
There's pieces that are okay.
Yeah.
Well, but if they would have included the flaming seal scene...
It would be amazing.
Maybe. It was cut for runtime, but it should have stayed. Anyhow,
Steel's a busy guy. He puts on shows and stuff. Was married that supermodel. No, he's not anymore, I guess. We're talking about two different things.
Kind of
seal.
Yeah.
I was confused.
Like you're talking about Seal the Performer, and we're talking about performing seals. It's similar, but not the same.
Right. Art still.
Yeah.
Not Kissed by a Rose in the Flame.
Yeah, he sings and they slap horns. They both like fish, though. That's what I understand.
Yeah, it's understandable. Fish is good.
Anyways. So, Action Comics 987. Lots of really cool stuff in there. Great reveal at the end of it. It's going to change a lot of stuff in DC, but the important thing is don't drink and boat. The seals. Think about the seals.
He's right.
And if you do, grab a glass. And If you didn't do the whole bottle, you would have probably thought better of doing some of that stuff.
Maybe you would have offered some to the seals.
Maybe. At least you would have thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps when you're drinking in moderation.
Yeah. And you don't have to finish the bottle even if you drink out of it. Just saying. Okay, it was no holds bar. Anyhow.
Well, Rob, on a seriouser note, would you give that book a score? Like a score that actually scores the book?
You know, actually, with all jokes aside, I'm sure we'll come back to this eventually because, yeah, the Oz effect is going to be huge.
It's a big deal.
You know, I would give it a 4. It does pay off. It wasn't what we expected it to be. I didn't see it coming. And it is kind of wrapping up a few loose ends for storylines. So yeah, I still see a lot of potential in what they could do moving forward with this story.
Sure.
I'm excited to see what the idea is behind it. And of course it has a beautiful lenticular cover as well. So
yeah, the whole series, the first principle at least. For the normal cover, the variants, of course, they're
they're going to be 2D
the same way, but yeah, the lenticular is kind of awesome. It's really pretty cool. Ross, you score?
You know, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5, probably.
Okay.
I liked the story. I'm honestly a little bit disappointed in the reveal. Not that shapes the whole thing, but anyhow. I was kind of hoping that it would tie more into this Doomsday Clock stuff that's coming later, and it probably will still in a different way, but anyhow. I think everyone's thought initially was that Mr. Oz was going to be some sort of Watchmen character. I'm not saying that he's not, but I'm saying I was disappointed in the reveal.
Good job, Ross.
Brought it down half a point.
All right. Score-wise, like Rob said in all seriousness, yeah, I'd give it a 4. I mean, book-wise, it's good. Dan Jurgens is he's no stranger to things. I mean, book-wise, he's written a whole lot of important Superman stories. Created Booster Gold. Has been on our show at least twice. Maybe 3? No, twice.
Also created Doomsday.
Wrote the Death of Superman.
Did the cover for with the cape with Superman cape on the pole. Like, he's the one who did the art for the cover. Like, he drew that cover. Pretty iconic thing.
It is iconic.
So, dude, he's written a fair amount of things. He's writing the Batman Beyond, or he was writing Batman Beyond. I think he still is, actually.
Yeah, I think he is, too.
Yeah, he did a couple miniseries about a year ago, Batmite, and then he did the, man, I can't remember the name of the other one. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, he shouldn't be a stranger to you. He worked for Marvel, did Marvel stuff, too, so the dude's not new to things. As far as the writer, he's been writing Superman for a minute, and he does a pretty good job of it. So, yeah, I give it 4. Yeah, we played up the jokey parts, but just because it's a really big deal, and as far as like what the book is a big deal. So, I would have liked if we waited another issue for the reveal, but with all the weird chasing to it, I'm kind of glad we got to the point where we can try to move forward now.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have been waiting a really, really
long
time
for
it.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. And I'm sure, as we go, we'll discuss, pros and cons at a later date, I'm sure.
Sure. All right, so we'll go and run the interview with Mr. Rags Morales, and this is from the Colorado Springs 2017 Comic-Con. Like I said again, Rags, not a stranger. Book-wise, the dude did art for DC, Marvel, Valiant, Identity Crisis was his. He did the during Green Lantern, Blackest Night. He did the art for Tales of the Corp. So currently he's working on Amory Wars for. I think it's Boom. No, is Boom that's putting it out?
Oh God,
I'm pretty sure it is. I don't remember who's putting it out, but I think it's Boom. Anyhow, I think he talks about that in there, and I don't know why I don't remember it because I actually talked about it. Anyway, Claudio Sanchez is the guy who created Amory Wars. He's the co-leading Cambria lead singer, which I actually met him in San Diego as well. However, there's no interview of that. It's just, he was there, and I was like, hey, what's up, dude? He's like, I got big hair, and I'm like, that's awesome. And then his really pretty wife lady was there, she's like, hey, and I'm like, you're really a pretty lady. He's like, you want to buy a copy of my book? I'm like, this store has them. So, anyway, it doesn't matter what I came home with and what I spent money on, because I make foolish choices. Anyway, but Rags, as far as a dude, awesome, cool to talk to, super legit. You got some pretty interesting stuff to hear talk about. As far as a guy in general, yeah, he's straight up legit. Like, it's awesome. Anyway, so I'm gonna run that now with the thing. So we're here today for the Colorado Springs 2017 Comic-Con with
Mr. Rags Morales.
There you go.
There you go.
Right, Rags, for a while you've been doing art in the business for quite a while. Like at this point, you work with some pretty big titles with pretty big writers.
Yeah.
As far as and I'm sure you've probably been asked this before, but was there a point, where was your point in your career, prior to career, what made you say, this is what I want to do? Was there a moment where you're like, here's the turning point, this is what I want to do?
Well, back when I was living in Idaho and fighting off these giant mutant mosquitoes, trying to protect my shoelace collection, they can be pretty aggressive.
Understand.
I have no idea what a mosquito needs with shoelaces, but you got to give it to them.
That's how you get their shoes tied on.
Who knew they had shoes? They were giant. They could have had Reeboks. I'm sorry. What was the question?
When did you decide that this is what you wanted to do, art? When did you decide, I want to have a comics?
When you get stung by a bunch of mosquitoes after a while, you start saying, screw this. And then I started reading comic books, and
it's like young age.
You want the cutesy answer? You want the sunshiny?
I'm going to take whatever you want to give me.
Okay.
I want the real answer.
I want the real answer.
I want the real answer.
Real deal.
I want to hear about all the gore and grime that made you decide you had to escape into your phone.
Okay, well, when I killed the neighborhood bully and I was trying to bury him underneath a bunch of comic books, I realized, oh my God, there's Neil Adams. I like him, and that's what started me. It was the Batman versus the Werewolf, 100-page thing. It had a great story in the back with Jerry Robinson, one of the most underrated comic book artists, Batman artists of the day, because Bob Kane was too busy being an ego. And from that point on, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to be a comic book artist. And I have a girlfriend of mine that I've known since I was 5 years old, and she told me that I was the only person she's ever known to say what we're going to be at 5 and be it, instead of going off in different other tangents. Although I did want to become a priest at one point because Linda Blair scared the shit out of me. I was up one night late, and her head is spinning around, an exorcist. I was like, I think I'm going to be a priest. This scared the hell out of me. And then they would beat me up because they thought I was a wimp. I was already a wimp. I was skinny. I like comic books. I was a freaking nerd, man. They're going to kick my shit because I want to be a priest, too? The hell are you? I'd rather go back to Idaho. So that's what got me going. And come full circle, it was very, Richard Hell and the Voidoids. And so I was very, very pleased and proud that when Joe Kubert, not that he died, but Neil Adams did a beautiful tribute with the pastiche of all the people that went there. And the first guy that got me into comics drew me in the tribute for Joe Kubert, the school that I work at and went to. So.
That's awesome.
I gotta turn this down, sorry. This is probably not gonna... It's good music, though. Richard Hell, bassist from television, probably the first band to play at the CBGBs in the 70s, yeah.
So what was your holy grail comic book when you were a kid? Like, this is what I want to be, and if I've done this, I've made it. And you have the comic book, because a lot of us lost
Well,
those.
I do have that comic, and I had that Neil sign it. So it would have to be that one. It would have to be that one. I can't tell you that I actually still own a lot of Holy Grails. The first Marvel fanfare, Michael Golden with Kazar and Warren Worthington, the Angel ranks. Sandy Plunkett's Marvel fanfare with Spider-Man and Scarlet Witch. Anything by C.C. Beck, the old Treasury editions I still have. the original Star Wars Treasury Edition with the Howard Chaykin that he tells me to this day he's tired of apologizing for, but I thought it was brilliant. Any Jim Aparo that I had, Brave and the Bold, it's a huge collection of that. Gene Colan doing Captain America and the Falcon back in the day. Frank Miller's Daredevil. Kerry Gamble doing Power Man and Iron Fist, Heroes for Hire. Very underrated artist. And anything by the Filipinos. By Alex Nino, Nestor Redondo, Jerry Tarlock, Tony DeZuniga, Francis Reyes, all of them. Real good guys. The good guys. The good artists. Not the crap that came out after that.
Is there a particular character that you haven't worked on that you'd like to? Like, is there a ring that you're looking to
kidding me?
get into? I mean, you've done a lot of A-listers, man.
Let me tell you something about comic books. It's work.
Right.
And I hate work. No, actually, yeah, look, we love what we do. I mean, obviously, because we do it, you know.
Right.
What are my choices? What I did before? Landscape. You know, work at McDonald's, record world. You know, those crappy summer jobs. But when it comes right down to it, it's work. And my job is to try to do a good job for the character, a good job for the story, make the writer want to hire me again, because a lot of writers say, I want to work with this guy, and editors go out and find that person. And the same thing with artists, you know, I like that inker, let me work, I like that colors, let me work. So we all kind of like give each other, you know, pats on the back, and that usually ends up becoming, you know, the way an editor adds people to their own talent pool, because an editor has a specific talent pool, people that they're used to working with. And it takes many years before you get the kind of cachet where you can just say, you know, I'd like to work with this dude. I'd like to work with this, you know, beautiful person. So, and I haven't even answered your question, but I guess, I don't know. It's every time I do a character, it's not even a goofy little nerdgasm, you know. Those things are, I haven't had a nerdgasm in so long. I can't, look, I love Captain Marvel. I like, for some reason, not the Marvel monstrosity. I'm talking about the original, you know, Fawcett Comics, you know, Captain Marvel. Because I like the costume. I just think that's the coolest cape in the world. And I just love drawing them. And I would love to be able to do a run that isn't ruined by any kind of modern version. You know, I would love to do the Invaders. Big Frank Robbins fan back in the day.
Yeah.
But, you know, not fighting the fucking Taliban.
Right.
You know.
Invaders in the right time frame.
Yeah. I don't know. I like weird characters too. You know, I did a little bit of the Demon. I had fun doing that when I did Canterbury Cricket, the world famous Canterbury Cricket. Yes. Everybody grabbed an issue.
That almost sold as well as Sliders, right?
Yeah. Well, if it's sold as good as Sliders, then I'm in deep shit.
I'd love to see the cricket show back up in something, man.
Yeah, you know, I enjoyed it because I'll never get a chance to do Bug for the Micronauts because I like the Micronauts too. But IDW now, I think Dynamite. Oh no, it's just IDW has that property, and unfortunately, a lot of the old characters are Marvel characters, and they can't use them.
Yeah.
So, but I like odd characters. So when I did Canterbury Cricket, I enjoyed that because I did love Bug, and I enjoyed doing the Demon in that, and I would love to get a shot to do. Just anything that's just weird and goofy, you know. It's when I did Black Condor, I did his arms long on purpose. That wasn't because I didn't know how to draw, it was just because I wanted him to be odd. And my editor tried to fight me on that all the time, and I was like, no, man. I gave him okay, and then I went back to doing it. So that I want to do the Creeper, that kind of thing, you know, just characters that. You know, but I don't want to do Ambush Bug. That's that, you know, that's that little cliche, you know, odd character, Ambush Bug, everybody loves Ambush. No, let Keith Giffen do it, and I don't ever want to touch that character. I would never do a better job than he does on it anyway. So.
Right on. I think Canterbury Cricket would be awesome if we got a new version of him, or even a current version of him in the 52 world, or Rebirth, or whatever.
But I don't want to do Ragman because that's just too on the nose, and that's bullshit.
What are you currently working on?
Currently, I'm doing Amory Wars
Okay.
for Claudio Sanchez of Cody and Cambria. I have a 12-issue run that I'm penciling and inking. Issue 6 is coming out September 6th. 6 on 6.
That's good. Got Apollo Run?
I'm sorry?
Got Apollo Run? Is
Uh,
titling to it?
Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4.
Okay.
Weirdest freaking titles in the world. Oh my god. What was the first collection? The second stage Turbine Blade?
Yeah.
And Keeping Good Secrets with Silent Earth, I think is the other one. And now we got Good Apollo on Burning Star 4, which is the conversation he's having with a dog. At the end of he's talking to a dog, Apollo. The dog name's Apollo. At the end of the second run, the run that Peter David wrote, he was talking to the dog, and because he's like the Christ figure, and he's trying to come back to save the day because he's got this superpower that he's trying to suppress because he doesn't trust it, doesn't know how to control it, and he doesn't want to be a part of it. He just wants to disappear. His parents are dead. His sister's dead. His other sister's dead. His little brother's dead. His whole family's gone. He's the only one left. He just doesn't bother with it, but he's got to save the day because the people that killed all these people are the ones he's designed. He's got to stop, and he's called the Crowing. At the end of Keeping Secrets, he tells Apollo, the dog, he says, good Apollo, he's saying to the dog, good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, and that's the title. So, they are. That's what I'm working on, and for anybody who doesn't know it, it's in 2 parts. There's a fiction part of the story, and there's a non-fiction part of the story. The fiction part is about the Crowing and him trying to save the day. In this planet called Heaven's Fence, of 69 planets, all in a triangular form. They don't rotate around any natural solar system like that as we know it, but they're all kept together and alive by something called the Keywork, which, if it was destroyed, would destroy all the planets and everything. And there are three factions in that universe. There's the mages, kind of like the oligarchy. They keep in charge of things. There's the human race, which is the peons, which is Claudio Kilgan, and the Crowing is a human. And there's the prize. There were blue angels, these blonde chicks with blue skin and with wings, and their job is to protect the Keywork, which keeps everything alive. And there's this one Ryan Wilhelm. He's like the Darth Vader, kind of. Darth Vader meets Mumra from Thundercats. He's trying to take over the whole thing. But in order to do that, he's got to kill the Crone. He's got to kill the prophecy. So that's the whole thing. And there's one prize named Ambelina who's came down from above and had her wings cut off so that she can be superpowers. So she just pushes the Crone to do the bidding. And he's got he discovers along the way that his parents were something called iRobots, which are kind of like human robots, with plugged in codes or whatever in there, and they were at one point a part of Wilhelm's plan, but then they gave birth to the son who's become the prophecy, so they had to kill them, and the rest of the family now they're going after the son. So that's the whole thing. That's the basic gist. Very cool story, I think. The other part, which is equally cool, it's about the writer trying to write this story, who suffers from schizophrenia, who's supposed to be taking drugs to help him, but it interferes with his writing, and his girlfriend keeps pushing him to take the drugs, but he refuses, which keeps him in his schizophrenic state, which ruins their relationship, and so she's fed up with him, and he's fed up with her, and then along comes his 10-speed bicycle, believe it or not, 10-speed, who he sees now as a fiery demon because he's messed up. And the fiery demon is trying to get him to kill his girlfriend. So his girlfriend winds up, spoiler alert, tied to a chair at some point. Anyway, so that's the basic gist of Amory Wars. And called Amory because that was the street that Claudio Sanchez, the lead singer and guitarist and writer of this whole thing, that's in upstate New York, that's the street he lived on. That's what I'm working on now, and I have 12 issues. I'm working on. I'm wrapping up the last quarter actually. It's through Boom. They're just. It's Evil Inc. is really the publisher.
Oh, yeah.
That's Claudio's company.
Gotcha.
Boom is just kind of like, they're the glue to kind of keep it all together, do the distribution so that they can go ahead. Because I'm working with 3 writers. I'm working with Claudio, it's his vision. Working with his wife, who does the actual scripting, and Chandra Eckert. And I'm working with Blaze James, who's Coheed Cambria's manager and my editor. So he's my guy. I talk to him and Chandra a lot, and occasionally I'll talk to Claudia. There you go. And he's a nice guy. He's a really, really sweet guy. Claudia's one of them. And Blaze is beautiful people, and Chandra's a beautiful woman. I got a beautiful little baby boy, little Atlas Hendricks. That's his name.
Nice. That's great. Any plans to go back to Valiant?
I've actually talked to Warren about doing it, and he sent me a bunch of books they're working on. They're doing beautiful work. My God, the stuff they're doing now, it's like, oof. I have to bring my A game for that. But I told him, I said, listen, you know what? I like the universe. It's fine. But if you can get Turok, that's my jam. Yeah. That's the one I give my heart and soul, because I guess if there's a favorite character, it might be Turok, because I'm native, and I like to delve into that. I grew up on Clayton Moore and Jay Silverheels, the Lone Ranger, the syndicated from the 50s TV show. So I grew up on that shit.
Oh yeah.
Want to hear a funny story?
Sure.
Yeah.
I told my mother, I'm going to kill you. That's the story.
It was a short one.
It turns out, so she took me to a child psychiatrist, or to a therapist, and she's like, I think my kid's weird. And after talking to me, she says, he just watches too much TV. So flash forward, I'm living in Pennsylvania, in a small town, Bartonsville. And I'm working one night, and TBS is doing an old westerns. And I got my back to it, and I'm kind of half listening to it. I'm drawing, it's commercial time, so I'm really not paying too much attention. All of a sudden I hear, I'm going to kill you. And I flipped around, and I didn't see the name of the movie, who said it, what, kind of pisses me off. Because that's what got me in trouble with my mother when I was 5, I think.
Wow. Quoting lines from movies, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So to this day,
that's what dudes do. What's that?
Oh, totally understandable.
Yeah.
To this day, you're not sure what movie that was still.
No. If somebody knows out there, please email me, contact me through social media. I'd love to find out. Just that one line, I'm going to kill you. Yeah. My life would be complete if I could get that.
Is this your first visit to Colorado Springs?
Yeah, and I could breathe just fine. You people are overrating this shit about the altitude.
Yeah, go to the incline.
I was jogging this morning after sleeping for only 7 hours after drinking the night before, and look at me. People. Tell you, man, everybody's got to have something to say. Step out from the crowd. But you got the Broncos. Congratulations. I was actually rooting for you guys.
Where'd you go jogging? Check out the scenery?
Oh, I didn't go jogging outside. Are you kidding me? There's not enough air. I was jogging in a hotel room. I was on the treadmill. Nice 45-minute run.
So you kind of touched on this a little bit, but share some of your thoughts about the current state of comic books. And
I don't know what the hell's going on out there. Are you kidding me? You know what we do? None of us know what's going on. You know who knows? Rob Liefeld, because he's nerdy for that shit. Nobody knows. We sit in our studios and we come out and we oh my God, there's the sun, and there's people that I kind of sort of know. I like their stuff because I'm on the internet all the time looking at it. Let's get drunk. That's what we do. You don't know what that. We get a script. That's what we're working on. I have no idea what Marvel's doing. I have no idea what DC's doing. What DC's what? I should know about DC. I kind of sort of.
Yeah.
That's
I was hoping you were going to shed some light on what DC's doing. What do you think of the DC movies right now? I mean, obviously they're messing with characters that you worked on.
Well, they're not messing. Look, you got to understand. There's properties that belong to the company, properties that belong to the movie company. So they change things up so everybody has a piece of the action. That's all it is. And all this good song. You like Incubus?
So you're a fan of Emo Superman?
Sure. Yeah. Emo Superman's great. He's awesome. He's my favorite Superman of all time. Yeah, it's but once you understand that the business aspect of it, you really can't. It'll kill the nerd in you. So I don't know why they do the things they do specifically. I mean, okay, all right, you can draw the line, you can follow the trail. It's always about money, but as far as decision making and editorial edict, is that the word edict? Yeah. As far as that goes, I really couldn't. I don't know the rhyme or reason. All I know is that, like any form of art, and then you can hear it in music, and you can see it in sports. Whenever capitalism becomes the major force behind a thing, they start signaling out. They start pointing out the things that work. And if it worked great before, it's going to have to work great again, and nobody's not counsel it's a piece of shit. So for all the hair bands that come out in the 80s, it takes one freaking Kurt Cobain to come along until eventually it becomes Puddle of Mud, and then after that it's just whatever, and then they're waiting for the next wave. That's the way money works. Money doesn't know how to make money; it just knows how to take money, and they put the shit out there, let other people make it for them. And that's where we got them by their short hairs, because they can't live without us because we're idea people. But, if they actually let us do more of the ideas, instead of saying, no, this character can't smile. No, this character has to be happy. No. You know what? No. No, let us be creative. We will make you a ton of money. But you would know what to do with it anyway. Because there's only so many things you can do that are redundant. And to be honest with you, it was actually a breath of fresh air for me to do Armory Wars, because I was away from everything that was being done before. And I don't have to do people in tights, and then hear how people think I can't draw anatomy. Fuck you, of course I can.
So what books do you read on a regular basis now?
I don't read comics.
At all?
I read scripts. I'm reading Rumi. I got a pocket Rumi. He's from Middle East. I think he's Lebanese. I think. No. I'm thinking of Khalil Gibran. I think he's Iranian, like the 1300s. Wrote a lot of beautiful shit about love. That's what I read. And I'm also reading Rise of the Fourth Reich. I read. I don't like fiction. Ironically enough, I don't like fiction when I read. I want to read autobiographies. I want to read philosophy. I want to read psychology. I want to read history, historic events, real history, because I'm an information junkie. So no, I honestly, comic books. No, man. A chef goes home and he puts shit in the microwave. Why? Because he's tired of cooking. Yeah. Seriously.
So you talked about doing the work and how it's work.
Yes.
So what's your art that's not work? What do you do to recharge? Because you get
there is no art that's not. There's just the idea that I'm actually going to do some self-publishing one day, and when I do, I'm going to hate that too. But at the very least, I'll be in complete charge of it, and if I can get a couple hundred people to go for it, then cool.
Obviously, you like listening to music. Is that what you're doing while you're working? Is just have music in your ear?
There are. This is my day. I start my day with progressive radio. I listen to a lot of politics. I'll listen to Bill Pressman. I'll listen to the Stephanie Miller Show. I'll listen to Tom Hartman. I'm a liberal. I'm a bleeding motherfucking liberal, and I will kick your ass until you accept that. Any conservative thinks he's going to mock me? No. No, sorry. I don't play that game. I'm for all people who aren't an asshole, like it says on my Twitter. If you're an asshole, I got nothing to do with you. So I a lot of that. Occasionally, I used to be a bigger sports fan. Then I'll switch over to ESPN and I'll listen to Hahn and Humphrey and Canty, but they're just a bunch of they're trend talkers now, talking out of both sides of their mouth, and when you realize they're just trying to poke you, I got nothing to do. So I put that away now. Then I'll go to Comedy Central. I'll watch The President Show, which is hilarious. I'll catch up with Trevor Noah and The Daily Show, because I've always been a big Daily Show fan. Then I'll, check out, go to YouTube and subscribe to Last Week Tonight, I mean. and then I'll just listen to documentaries. You know, a lot of documentaries. Or I'll watch. Okay, you want a nerdy answer? I'm watching The Defenders. I just saw the first season.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very slow thing, and I'm sick and tired of ninjas. Let's do something else. But yeah, you know, I try to watch where the companies are taking their properties. You know, because I know what's going on in comic books, sort of. You know, I didn't know, but I can surmise pretty easily. You know, where they're going to do it, but where they're taking it in other mediums. It's just that's why I pay attention to, and I like Netflix a lot. And I just started. Shit, what the hell's the name of that? I can't think when I'm grooving. Was it Curiosity Stream? Was it right? Curiosity Stream. Does that sound right?
Yes. Curiosity Stream.
Hugo back there just gave me the whole So yeah, Curiosity Stream, and just documentary junkie, and then I'll just jam out the tunes. My iPod kind of busted though, so I'm trying to get my buddy to fix that. And you know, I only got so much space left on my phone. I put too much shit in here.
How do you go about discovering new music?
Oh wow! You know, back in the day, you actually have to listen to a radio.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Whenever off occasion, where I actually get to play a video game, which is not often. I like to play the sports ones, and they have a kick-ass soundtrack. So I'll listen. That's where I discovered The Rapture. You know, I like those dudes, and or I'll watch a documentary. I've got this one song by an Ethiopian singer called Gigi. You know, it's a beautiful song. I don't know what the hell she's singing, but I know I read up about it, so I know what the song's about. And so, but I don't know. I got big ears. I listen to everything, and if it grabs me, I go for it. I've been in a big Chris Cornell trip lately since he died. So, listen to a lot of Soundgarden.
One last question, real quick. You seem to be kind of playful with your image and everything. Do you ever, get an anonymous user and get on chat boards and just screw with fans?
Oh yeah. I used to be years ago. We're talking maybe 10 years ago. This will solve somebody's mystery. Jeff Johns had his message boards, because I was with Jeff. We were doing the Hawkman and all that, so I was part of his little group. And I went on as Rosstachio, and I forgot the name of the place where I was from. But if you actually unscrambled it, it says Raj Morales. So nobody caught on to it, and after a while, I kind of got bored with it. But I was on there, and it was great. I had a lot of fun. I was the dumb El Mustachio nerdy fan who didn't understand comic books, but thought he had every answer. Like when they were doing when the Clash of the Titans came out and they did the new movie, just before they did the new movie, I was talking about how I was so excited I couldn't wait to see if they were going to make Cyborg the owl or not. So it was cross-pollinating things. I was up late at night. I'm fuck with people. But that's about it. That's all I've done.
I appreciate your time, man.
And there is no image. This is me. It's who I am.
No, I love it.
All right. You cool?
Yeah,
you got everything?
you.
All right. Good. Glad you stopped before you got some of my spank bank.
All right, again, I want to thank Rags for taking the time to sit out and talk with us. I mean, that was really cool. Really cool thing to be able to do and kind of hang out in more of an interview setting than normally chasing around cons and stuff. So that was pretty cool. And it was interesting working with a couple other guys. We had a couple other interviewers who were up there with me. So that was cool. Anyhow, I really do enjoy that part of the stuff Colorado Springs puts together. They do a pretty good job setting things up, and this year's show was no exception. Is from what little bit I've seen of their other shows, and last year's show was pretty good too. So if you get a chance, the Colorado Springs Comic Con, definitely worth a try. It's a smaller venue, but they have got a lot of people and a lot of cool celebrity types, and they do a pretty good job putting on the show. Alright, so, let's do, Rob, what'd you learn today? You should come up with a name for that segment. It's like, Things You Learned? That's a terrible name for the segment. Rob, what'd you learn today?
I learned that seals are flammable, especially when they're covered in oil.
That is a hard thing
and
to
fire
learn.
is involved.
Well, of course.
I don't know if that's really something that I should learn.
No one should.
No.
No one should.
How about instead I learned that the old Z Nation can teach children soldiers how to shoot rhinos.
That's not a good thing to learn either.
No.
And he's not talking about the TV show that's Zombie Nation, which is what Z Nation is.
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm sorry. Oz Nation.
There you go. That's a lot better. It's like that show of being in prison that was on HBO. I think that was just called Oz. It's not where the guy with the straw hat and the Tin Man live. That's a lion.
That's the Wizard
That's the
of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Oh, okay. Well, okay. Ross, what did you learn today?
I learned that if you're going to drink alcohol on a boat, you should at least use a cup.
It's true.
It is a hard
That's
lesson
true.
to learn.
If you decide, like, hey, I'm just going to rock this whole bottle, it's going to be bad things. There's going to be consequences. And evidently it's going to be parking on seals.
Nice. Rob, what did I learn today?
You learned that in a dimension full of kittens, Wolverine has found true peace.
He's right. I do love the dimension full of kittens. And I feel like Wolverine most of the time.
So that's in your secret Wolverine diary. You're like, I don't know if I can face reality anymore.
That's true. You think it every time.
The kitten world.
It's just too perfect.
Yeah.
It's so cute and cuddly. It's true. Everything they do is amazing. All right, so let's do a little bit of books to watch. Ross, do you have any ideas of books to watch?
Yeah, I keep reading Teen Titans.
Right.
Yeah, even past this Metal Titan stuff, it's been really good. Regular Titans has been awesome too.
And I think they finally got Aqualad in there in a way that is mostly acceptable.
Yeah, I like
for Teen Titans.
I like
so
what
that's
they've
awesome.
been doing recently with Aqualad in there. The past story with Black Manta was really cool.
And so people who've just learned that Black Man is a thing, the last few issues for Teen Titans,
Yeah,
it's a good choice.
yeah, good ones to read. Like I said, Regular Titans has been pretty awesome. Been doing some pretty crazy things there. Superman and Super Sons, you can't miss either of those.
Yeah,
They're
definitely
really,
both
really
of them
good.
win.
And then I'm pretty sure there's a new Hot Dog and the Werewolf coming out. And
That's not what the name of that
October.
series is. It's called Hunger, and yes, there is a regular series coming out. It should be fantastic. Rob, you got any books to watch?
Astonishing X-Men is fantastic. Probably at this point, I think the strongest of the X titles that's coming out. But definitely been blowing things away with that. We just wrapped Secret Empire, so if you haven't read that, you need to check that out. Surprisingly, a lot of the legacy books have been really good.
You mean Generation books?
I'm sorry, Generation books.
Yep.
Yeah. Gosh, and I guess then the next one is just to keep an eye out for the Atomic Clock. I think that's for DC. That's
You got a Doomsday Clock?
Doomsday Clock, yeah.
Okay.
So,
No, it should be good stuff. Well, I say keep rocking metal if you're not already, because it's been entertaining, interesting stuff. Issue 2's in is definitely crazy. As far as books on the horizon, well, let's go with another book that's currently happening. Like Elsewhere, I love it. Now I know a couple of shows back I mentioned it. Now issue 2 is finally come out the stores. I still dig it. I mean, I can see a pathway for it, but this is the one with dealing with alternate history for D.B. Cooper, Amelia Earhart, and maybe some others. I dig it. I think it's cool. I guess I'm fairly easily entertained with that idea. But I do like that. There's Scavengers of the Wasteland. No, Tinkerers of the Wasteland. I dig that thing. It's issue 3 came out this last week. It's very Tank Girl-esque, I guess. But it is fun and like a wild book. It comes out from a smaller company. I cannot remember the name of the company. Which makes me feel sad inside. But yeah, Tinkerers of the Wasteland. If you dig Tank Girl style stuff, that would definitely be up your alley. As far as other series, man, I feel like there was a new one from Image that I thought was going to be cool. I still dig Shirtless Bear Fighter. I think it's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things in the world. Like, it is ridiculous, but it is so funny. I mean, a character that just his whole threshold is based on hating bears, and There's lots of reasons for them to hate bears. Me laying it all out in issue 3. So there was some messed up stuff that happened. You wouldn't think bears could be so hateful, but man, they don't just want to sell you toilet paper. I mean, some of them do, but the majority of them don't. Anyhow, that's big. That's part of the story too. It's kind of funny.
And if nothing else, if you've ever wanted to see a jet covered in bear skins,
Oh yeah, this is the place to do it.
a bearskin jet.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of cabins made of bears too. Log cabin made of bears, people. You heard what I'm saying? You know how warm that would be inside? Fuzzy? You need that fur doesn't feel good? It'd be like that kind of.
Yeah.
Probably. It might smell.
Not how you'd expect it to be.
No, that's probably true. It wouldn't be cuddly like I was hoping. Not like stuffed teddy bear cuddly. Anyway, yeah, good times. Good times. Yeah, I feel like there was another one in there that was like, dude, this book's gonna be the best thing ever. But now in my head, I can't remember what the hell it was, so I guess it wasn't that great.
Future Quest Presents is awesome.
Oh, Future Quest Presents. Yeah, the first issue was pretty good, yeah. I do dig that. I like how we're rocking the Space Ghost origin story a little more and lining out parts of that, making the kids like be there for training and not just random kids he picked up because he was bored.
I like they tie it in to Herculoids.
So
good, too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Ariel Olivetti, who did the original Space Ghost.
Oh, the miniseries, yeah.
Yeah.
So the art's fantastic in it. Yeah, that's true. Future Quest Presents, if you haven't seen that book, yeah, the art is fantastic. And you should get a chance, if you dig Space Ghost stuff, you gotta go check out the miniseries that was done back, I don't know, like 5 years ago, just titled Space Ghost.
Maybe even 10. Yeah,
You think it was that far back?
Yeah.
Gosh, maybe. Anyways, good stuff. Is there anything else? Lads? No?
I think that's enough for this time.
Gonna call it? Alright, well, Tiki. I wonder if people understand that.
Probably not.
They should. Google Kamen Rider.
Yep. Kamen Rider V3.
I bet if you listen to old episodes even, I'm sure we probably explained it on the first one we did that.
I don't think we did the first one. We probably did at one point.
It was pretty close to the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big fan.
It's a mystery. You gotta listen to all of them now to figure
Yes.
it out.
Yeah, you want to really have your mind blown, check out Kamen Rider X8. Doctors mixed with masked superhero guys mixed with video games. Only in Japan right there.